Shalom, shalom. Welcome to Rooted in Hebrew. My name is Mike, and today is January the 5th. And it should be a blessing for all of us to rise for another day, to encourage one another. What is this? Okay. That's happening there. Okay. Today, wanted to talk about, everybody have a different mindset on different things. And there are always some pros and cons to a mindset. And so with us, we have some stumbling blocks to our mindset. But that's the beauty of it, though, because you have some brothers and sisters who fought against certain mindsets and they succeeded. And you have brothers and sisters who did not more so put up a fight for it. And we've seen the results of that. Shalom, Sister Linda Cross. Glad you're making it in today, sis. That mindset, brothers and sisters, can make you or it can break you. And it depends on that free will that we have. Are you willing to investigate it, to take it a little bit deeper, to find out, is this really an issue for you individually, or as a group, or as a nation? That mindset, that's the one that's going to determine your outcome for you and your family. Because what you instill in yourself, trust me, you're going to put that out to your family, especially you've been a husband, wife, and you got kids. So if we are mindful of these things, yes, we have to put the pros and the cons to the test. That's what we have to do. This nation that's on the rise, that's been born, is going to go through some things. Brothers, we should all know it's not going to be easy. It's not. These things are not going to be easy for us. It's going to be a battle for us to do anything to get back with the most, just to get back to the Most High. The stumbling block is the devil. He's going to stand in between me, you, and the Most High. That's one thing he do not want us to have. So this is the reason why they came up with all those lies throughout the hundreds of years of captivity. This is what they did. Shalom, Sister Pixie Dust. But we have this battle that we got to continue to redefine. I mean, what was it? I knew there were some brothers out there saying, it was brothers and sisters. They would, get out there and say, hey, we need to, do away with a certain type of thinking, a slave mentality. But as the brothers and sisters kept on talking about it, a slave mentality, it started to sink in then. And a great deal of brothers and sisters, they took that to heart. And they put it in their minds to turn away from a lot of stuff that was taught to us that has no benefit at all. Only the benefit is for them. That was the benefit, but it was for a destruction for us. This is what they put out. They had that out there deep. Well, they still do. They still do. Oh, you ain't gonna amount to nothing. To what they told our parents and our forefathers and things of that nature. That stuff rubbed out. They put that onto the kids. telling their kids, you're not going to amount to nothing. Kids was believing that they was not going to amount to nothing. But the strong-minded child, that child put to question their thoughts, and that child went on to succeed. So we have the pro and the cons to it. That's one thing we do have. But it would appear that, well, it would appear the devil has pretty much he advertised the negative more so than the positive, and we know why. We know why. But that's what he has done. Hold on, just for one moment. Let me put this thing up real quick. So, brothers and sisters, when it comes to that mindset, there's a lot of things that are within us, and if it's not within us personally, trust and believe, it's going to be in your family line somewhere down that line. It may be your parents or your grandparents and things of that nature. Hold on. Oh boy. Hold on just for a moment. I'm back, brothers. Sorry about that. But this is where we at. It's that mindset. And you have some brothers and sisters that are strong-willed. And the reason why I say things are changing for the best, and you got brothers and sisters that's been going back and forth to Africa, some with bad experiences, some with some good experiences, and some are just, it's just an experience. But one thing that Yah's people did not do, they kept on coming. They did not give up. Especially, I mean, I know we remember the year of return that happened with Ghana. You still have brothers and sisters going there building homes and things of that nature. Then you still have brothers and sisters complaining. I ain't gonna say complaining. I'm gonna say complaint. That has put out complaints as to how they work and what things they experienced. But we continue to move forward. You got brothers and sisters out there building communities. One brother, he has somewhat like condos and things of that nature. You're going to get confronted. You're going to, if any one of you brothers and sisters, Sister Linda Cross, you went to Africa and you came and you start building up small communities. You start building homes here, homes over there. And I mean, you start building, trust and believe, sister. You're going to get a return visit from the devil. He's going to put in a stumbling block to slow your road. Because he knows exactly who you working for, who you trying to glorify by means of your actions. So yes, if he has to bring the government in to ruffle your feathers and whatever, he's going to do just that until he gets to the point where the Most High will say it's enough. You guys to go, and you go move on and you go flourish. This is the birth of a nation. So this woman, she's struggling to give birth. What makes you think, Israel, that we're not going to struggle? If she's struggling, we struggle. He do not want that birth to take place. He does not. Brothers and sisters are all over. You got Ghana. Who else? You got South Africa. You need these brothers, and it may not be a lot right now. It may not be a lot of brothers and sisters, but they're going there. They're going there with the right mindset of doing business. It's just a matter of understanding the colonizers' laws, which they wrote to deter you. That's what it's about. Yeah, you have a lot of. I know there was quite a few brothers and sisters that stated the reason why they left Tanzania. And don't get me wrong, Tanzania. Whew, mm, if you can go to Tanzania, stay there for like a year, whatever, you gonna learn a lot. But once you leave Tanzania and you go somewhere else, oh, you might hang it up. It's a done deal. You got everything on lock. Now, whatever the principality got going on over there, but it's a battle. And you have brothers and sisters who stood the test of time. They still there. They still there. But we must not give up, no matter where we at. Whether you still in the States or the European lands, or you there in Africa. It's there being in Africa that gives the other brothers and sisters hope. That's what it does. And for those brothers and sisters out there doing it, that's all they're doing. It's setting up in your hearts and mind hope. It's building up their faith. And you may think this is what's the word? Just a business venture. No, it's not about a business venture. This is about a living venture. That's what this is about. They can sit and say all of this and all of that. We've seen what the world has done. We've seen what the world has insinuated about us. But we continue to move on. Now the world is seeing who we are. The world is seeing it. They woke up. Thanks to uh, thanks to the world. The world is asking questions. Why is it that these African Americans are always fighting for justice and to be recognized and things of that? That's a question that, it's going to happen. And it's happening a whole lot. Now they're starting to see a lot of things that they spoke about us are dead lies. You have white mothers, Indian mothers, telling their kids, if you ever get lost, look for a black man. Why are they saying these things? Look for a black man or a black woman. They're going to know they got that human side in them. This is what they have seen. This is what they have witnessed. But the world want to make us out to be murderers, prostitutes, drug dealers, and things. And they're the biggest ones who's doing it. They're just doing it with makeup on. And they have a suit on with it. Shiny shoes, walk around with a cigar. They're the biggest gangsters that you can ever imagine. It's what's been done in those thick oak doors rather, behind those doors. They don't want you to see that stuff. But us, they will put it out there. Whatever bad thing they can show. They'll show some of our brothers and sisters in Africa with swollen bellies, flies swarming around their mouths, and they're not swallowing them up. They will show that quick. They will show a black neighborhood, drug infested, crime infested. Yes, they'll show that real quick. But they will not show their dark life. Our lives is right there in front of the world. And we understand our lot in life. We do. We understand that because we know the curses. Yahushua said it. Woe to those that does not keep my Father's laws. That was a woe. And that woe was not to the world. It was to his people. It was a sign. All right. If you're seeing these people suffer like this, you know good well who they are. These are my people. No matter where they're at, if they're not following those laws, these was going. Now the ones that's following the law, they may throw you off because they're going to be blessed by means of following those laws. But the ones that do not know, the one that be sleeping in ignorance, they're still going to be suffering. They're going to suffer from it. Shalom, Sister Teresa. They're going to suffer from it off the top. But the world has to see it for what Yahusha said it was going to be. It's going to be a woe. And the world is seeing it. Sister Doreen, I sent you the link. Now, if you want to come on, the link is also in the chat. Yeah, it's also in the chat also. So whenever you're ready to come on, you just come on in, and I'll place you into the live. But this is the mindset, brothers and sisters, that a lot of it we have to strive a tad bit harder, because with this birth of a nation, that woman, she's struggling. She's struggling. She's working with the nurse, the doctors, and they're trying their best not for her to give birth. That's what we have to look at. They recognize, hey, if this woman give birth, these people are going to rule over us, and they have a fear. They have a fear of what they have done to us. What they have done to us. They have that fear of retaliation. When you have that fear, you know you did some things. But it's not going to be us that's going to retaliate. This is going to be the Most High who's going to do the retaliating. Period. He's the one who's going to do the retaliating. We will be in healing at that time. We won't have time to be retaliating. The world is about to go into a great tribulation. That's what the world is about to go through. Along with what they're going through with the tribulation, for right now, we need to be working on our mindset. And not all of us is going to have that. Let me see. That one-mindedness. That's going to come from the Most High. That's going to be the weeding out. That's what that's going to be. But I mean, this is where we're at. This is how we're standing right as we speak before the Most High. There's a lot of things that we have put ourselves in positions, and if we don't make right and do right by the Most High, because 9 times out of 10 we did something against another brother or sister, and we have full-blown knowledge of what we did. If your mindset is thinking that you will just, I'm gonna forget about it, move on about my business, it don't work that way. It does not work that way. You're going to be dealt with the Most High. You're going to get dealt with. That lack of knowledge, because it would appear that you're choosing to hold on to a mindset that's not conducive for you nor the brother that you offended. Go make peace with your brother so that the Most High don't come back upon you. When you have full-blown knowledge of what you've done, and you sitting back and letting it just ride into as if we're gonna just forget about it. It ain't what we gonna do, it's what you should do. Make right and do your then the most high to say, turn around and repent. That repentance go across the board and it goes wide. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. I just got a disturbing phone call this morning. I know this sister, little young sister. Well, she's young, but she's what? Nancy's like 20. mm, she's less than 22. Put it that way. And the sister, she would come by. You know, she was somewhat in between homes. She would come by and stay with us. You know, and things. She stayed. I think one time she stayed for like a month. But let me tell you something. This sister would get up, sweep up all outside, sweep it up, everything, pick up trash and things of that nature. The sister, she worked around the house that way because she didn't have a job. And so uh, I knew of the sister's past and things of that nature. She shared that. And just recently, I'm gonna tell you that when I say this mindset, brothers and sisters, some of these mindsets we have, they're going to. I'm sorry. It seems like it's going to go straight to the Most High, and He's going to deal with it. This child is a product of a child who's been molested from the time that she was 7 years old by her uncle, and it didn't stop until she turned. He said 13, 14 years old. That's when it stopped, and she haven't seen them for years until recently. She haven't seen him for years. And this is her mother's brother. So one of the uncles seen her. And she had found her a job, and she was working a job. And she stayed in contact with us. She did. And even though I'm not there, she was asking Lydia how was it doing and things of that nature. And so, they having conversation and things. So recently, she just got a phone call this morning, or their morning. It's like about evening there. And she's in a hospital. She's in a hospital right now. Her mother called and she was distraught. And she told Lydia that her uncles severely SA'd her very badly. Not taking turns, but all at one time. So what she thought at 13 that it was over with, they came back and they did some demonic things to their niece. When I say they, I'm talking about both of her uncles. Now, when I say that the devil is busy, the devil is busy. He don't care who he gets to use. With that wicked mindset, he's going to use it. That sister's in the hospital right now. And now, we ain't even. If you brothers and sisters have you ever seen this sister, you would say, she's a nice person, but you can tell there's something wrong. And that wrong came from her family. It ain't nothing on her as if she was born that way. No, it's what was done to this sister. This is that mindset. This is the reason why the Most High said he must come in and he must discipline his people. Sister Linda, it is ridiculous. That nonsense. I mean, I could not believe. And I know this sister. Matter of fact, we met Nancy when I was living in the Airbnb in Cinza. And she was the maid that the owners of the Airbnb, they hired her. They hired her to come there and do work at that. And that's how we met her. And she just gravitated towards us. And she left a number with Hydia, and Hydia stayed in contact with her. Then the owners of the Airbnb was not paying her. So, eventually she quit because they wasn't paying her. But she stayed in contact with Hydia. And then she ran on some hard times where she went, when you don't get money and you work for somebody, that right there can mess up your whole structure in Tanzania. Because you got bills you got to pay. You got rent you got to pay. And if you don't have your rent, they would come there and put a lock on your door with your furniture inside. And you cannot get back in it until you pay that rent. When I say love of goodness, this is the truth. Ain't too much love of goodness there, brothers. I'm serious. The love of goodness is like, it runs very thin. Shalom, Brother AJ. It runs very thin. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something about this mindset that some brothers are maintaining. And I'm saying brothers. If you go into the book of Luke, Yahushua spoke about in the last days, those days would be like the days of Lot. And like I said now, in the book of Luke, I think it's chapter 21, it speaks about the days of Lot affecting his people, Israel, in the last days. So that's what they did to our sister there in Darcel, her uncles. There is going to be a judgment on that. Hang it up. I mean, yeah, you can do it today, and you think you all right, and they're not more than likely, brothers and sisters, they get arrested, they be out in a couple of days, walking the streets again. That's how lax they are with the laws. From a man's standpoint, it would appear that they just ain't nothing going to happen to them. Not so with the Most High. And they can't turn back, and they can turn around and repent. They can. But the scripture also said, the Most High said, I'm not going to leave you completely undisciplined. You go get some discipline down that line. I don't care how you look at it. But King David, all what he did, the Most High said, no, that child is not going to live. He told them that child is not going to live that you brought into this world by means of adultery. That's right, Sister Love. It's these curses of the last days. And it's that mindset of what you want to do with your mind. If you want to let your mind gravitate towards evil things, trust and believe. You go swim in it. You want to swim in that mindset. And you go, once you think you're coming out, you go dry yourself off. No, trust and believe. You're going to get judged for it. That mindset. Oh, right. Hold on. I didn't even see you, Sister Doreen. Hold on. Oh, hold on for a moment. Let me take something out. You hear me, Sister Doreen?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Great. I don't know what happened to my avatar. I'm wondering if I can change it.
All right, it doesn't matter if you want to. I mean, it's solely left up to you. It's totally left up to you.
Let's see. Um, um, I'm not even gonna bother with it.
I got you, sis. I
I
got you. I
don't know
understand.
how. So this is trial and error for me right now. Oh, no, that's audio. Okay, let's go
But
with
no,
it.
what I was talking about was the mindset, and I was just giving an experience of this sister, and this just recently happened to her a couple of days ago, and how we have different, different things we have to contend with. And I know what me and you was talking about. It was more so on the understanding uh, finances and knowing how to uh, take advantage of a situation for the betterment of an individual or a family and things of that nature. So now,
Right.
I mean, you can go. I mean, go ahead, sister, because you blew my mind, and this is your lane.
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Doreen Morgan, and I give you a little bit about my background. Actually, I came across Brother Mike from Covenant Awakenings and Q2UA. I had been listening for a good while, but I never chimed in. And anyway, I when Mike got his own channel, I started listening in there, and with no intentions of chatting or anything like that. And I forgot what the discussion was, but my fingers just got to going. I think a lot of this is because we don't understand money management. And of course, Mike asked to speak to me. We talked about it, and he asked me to come on the show. I am originally from Chicago. I was born and raised there. And for anybody who doesn't know Chicago, Chicago is probably one of the last segregated cities in the country. Um, and so I grew up in like a middle class. Some would say upper middle class. I say we were probably rich adjacent, but anyway, I did not live in quote the lower income areas. So I can't complain about my life. My life was, I went to one of the better schools. Uh, but keep in mind now, this is still an all black neighborhood. And in our neighborhood, you grow up, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a job, so a good paying job, and you go on with your life. You pretty much, most of us in the neighborhood pretty much follow the footsteps of our parents or our grandparents. I lived with my grandparents and my parents. Our house was big enough that we had different levels, and my family lived on one. It wasn't a two flat or anything, it was a house. Um, but they had like two different sections. Hard to explain, but anyway, so I did that. I was the one that felt like I did everything right. This is what society tells you, and I had the degree. I'm ready to go. I have a degree in mathematics, and the world was open to me. Computers had just come on the scene. I had taken all the computer courses, so I went into my adult life looking for jobs as a computer programmer, and I did get one. And I was living, I guess you would say, better than my parents and grandparents. But my life was a roller coaster financially. I'm living in some of the nicer areas, and everything is fine. I get laid off, I have to move, or I have to ask my parents for help, or things of that nature. And so it was just up and down, up and down. And I'm like, this can't be the life that they were talking about, because you know I I'm not feeling comfortable. I was always stressed out about money. I tried to save something, and then emergencies would come up or something would come up and my money is depleted. And I had a job in Chicago that transferred me to San Diego. And so now I'm out here. Life is great. And to be perfectly honest, I did not want to go to college. I'm a singer. My mother's side of the family are singers. My father's side of the family are into, like, my father's mother was an accountant, and my dad was in management. His dad was in management. So I was doing both. But I really wanted to be a singer. And my dad was like, okay, yeah, no, you're going to go to college. So I ended up going to college. But when I got to San Diego, I'm like, oh, God, I can get into my singing career and all of that kind of stuff. But I went out there as a computer programmer. And I started my first business out there, which incidentally ended up being a business in accounting. So I did bookkeeping and accounting for entertainers. And so I got an opportunity to be in that world. And a lot of them had no clue about their money. And anyway, so it was kind of like they just wanted me to keep track of their money or whatever. I couldn't get them interested in knowing about their money. And they had a lot of it. But their thing was, I just want to do my career. I want to sing. I want to act, whatever. And it was good for a while until, it was situations where they were blaming me for something. It's like, no, got to back out of this because I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I wasn't going to stand there and be blamed for something I didn't do. So I kind of backed out of that, went back into my programming and so on and so forth. But I ended up losing my job there and moving back to Chicago. And back into the grind there, back into computers.
The rat race.
Yeah, that rat race. I didn't even know what rat race was at that time. Didn't like Chicago anymore, so moved back to San Diego. Just got a job and working, and I started my own business again, doing bookkeeping and accounting. So this was different, just different people. Different industries. It wasn't just in the entertainment industry. And I ended up moving to Las Vegas, Henderson, Nevada area, which is where I am now. And I picked up clients here. I also started doing training. When I say training, I'm talking about corporate training businesses on QuickBooks, how to use QuickBooks, things of that nature, and also the Microsoft products. And I eventually had a client who was a real estate investor. This was a brother. He was a real estate investor. And I did his books, and we would meet every Sunday and go over his books and that kind of thing. And one time he said, hey, I want you to read this book. And I'm thinking to myself, I smiled at him and went, oh, okay. And to myself, I'm like, I don't have time to read a book. I'm working. I'm at this. But eventually I saw the book on the shelf. I bought it and I read it. And it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I don't know if anybody has read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I read the first few pages and couldn't put that book down until I finished it. It literally changed my life, or so I thought. So it was talking about his rich dad versus his poor dad. And it turned out his poor dad was his real dad and his rich dad was his friend's dad. I'm not going to tell the story. It's a good read if you want to read it. But I became like just so involved into this book. And by now I had my business up and running, and I started training home health agencies in QuickBooks. And when I left the training company, one of them asked me to come and help them because their accountant took ill. I ended up going there and just seeing how the whole thing worked. And I wrote a program called Bridget, and it bridged the information from their home care billing system to QuickBooks. And so I had this business that took off, was doing well. And now I'm in a whole nother world, and people are trying to take my program from me. And eventually the company I wrote my program off of said if I didn't give my program to them, they would tell their clients to not work with me. And I ended up losing that program. So again, here I am back down again. And okay, I got to figure out how to get back up. I still have a few of my accounting clients.
But let me ask you something, sister.
Uh-huh.
But did you own that program?
It was my program, yes.
I mean,
I know. And I went through trying to find attorneys, and
I know it can get tiresome.
Yeah. So yeah. But I guess I consoled myself by saying at least they didn't get it. So anyway, I kept doing programming, and some of the clients that I had through that I maintained, and I did their books, and I still do to this day. But I ended up, it's like still I'm on this roller coaster. And so I got really involved in the Rich Dad program. I went to their free class, their next level class, their high level class. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars being a part of this because I wanted to learn. And it talked about how to be financially free. And I'm like, yes, this is it. This is what I've been missing. And I even hosted the Las Vegas Henderson area cash flow club. And every week we played his cash flow game. And I remember listening, I don't know, maybe a year ago to Covenant Awakenings, and I heard Brother Mike and Sister Shar talking about playing this game. I'm like, oh, they know this game. So I'm like, oh, I've got to volunteer and be a part of this. And ended up that didn't work out, but I've always believed in this game. But while I was hosting it, this was some years back, none of us were really leading that life. We were playing the game, and we all, were getting out of the rat race and all of this, but we weren't living it. And eventually it just kind of dissolved, and I closed it down, and I started it up again a couple of years ago. But the attitudes of the people have changed. And
mindset. That's that mindset.
Yeah. And well, so here's the thing. I always did it for free. I never charged. So when I started, I kind of examined in my life why this isn't working. And I kept going, there's got to be something I'm not doing. Most people would go away and go, oh, he's a fraud and da-da-da. And I'm like, there's something I'm not doing. And it tied into bookkeeping and accounting. And so I'm like, that's it. So if I can do the game and show the people the importance of knowing your finances and all of that, that would be it. And so I started this game again, but this time, they come, I set it up. We meet Sundays. It was open to anybody, and they would come, they would play the game, and they still weren't getting it. It was like, hey, where do I get this game at? They didn't want to keep coming. They wanted to get their own game and go. And I'm like, okay, now I'm making money for the coffee shop where we were at. I'm making money for Rich Dad. I'm making money for everybody but me. And I'm like, okay, no, this isn't the direction I saw it going in, because I was hoping they saw the benefits of the finances, and they didn't. So I shut it down. But I never gave up because I really believe in this. And I, kept searching internally to see what could I do differently. And by now I had taken a job as a teacher. I've been teaching a few years. I taught elementary school music, and band. I didn't even tell you that side of me other than the singer, but I went to high school and I was in the band in high school, trombone player, went to college on a music scholarship. So that's how I got to college. So anyway, while I'm there, they put me in a class and told me to teach this, I forget what they call it. Study. It was like a study hall class, but it ended up being a class with the bad kids, junior high. And I didn't know how to teach them really, and they were out of control. So one day I came in and said, "You all want to learn about money?" And all of them were, "Yeah." So I brought in the game, and we started playing the game. And some of them kind of fell off, but others got really into it.
Now, let me ask you something, sis.
Uh-huh.
The ones that got into it, what are their nationalities?
I was gonna get to that. Mostly not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a lot of Hispanics. And so I'm saying, when I say a lot, it ended up being 6 of us that played consistently. And I should say 6 of them because I wasn't playing, but 3 of them were Hispanic, 2 were white, 1 black.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of them, they kind of just fell off, didn't want to play. They got their feelings hurt because they couldn't win and that kind of stuff. So, and it's not like the others won all the time. They saw something in the game that I was hoping everybody would see. So, but I kept it going. And I remember one night we had a fun night, and you bring your parents and the students come. And one of the things they had was a game table, and I ran the game table, and I brought my game. I brought all the other games, or standard games the kids like, but I brought this game with me. And a couple of parents came, one grandmother, and then parents of one of my students came. Well, the parents, the mother and father of this one student came over, and they were like livid at me. They were livid, and they came over. "I want to know this game that you're teaching my son. He's coming home with all these crazy ideas about renting out our bedroom and our extra bedroom." And it's like, where are you getting this from? So I said, well, let's sit down and play the game. They played the game, and I had to say, they're cutting off the lights. We have to stop. They got it, and they were like, okay, we're in. Where I want to know more. And that was the energy that I was hoping to get when I started it before. So anyway, again, we playing the game, but not living the life. And I'm like, I gotta get people to this transition. And so I'm studying again, evaluating, researching, trying to figure out what is the problem. And that's when I started feeling like the Most High was dealing with me. Number one, about what I was missing. And number two, I need to share this with the family. So of course I started living this, and it's like, oh my gosh, this was the missing piece. And so when I hear everything that everybody's talking about, a lot of this that the inner stuff going on between the different camps and all of that, a lot of this is, if we could solve this problem, that money problem, it will solve so many of the other problems. And there's a scripture, let me see if I can find it, but there's a scripture that says money answereth all things. And that's what, every time I hear divisiveness and all of that, I think of that scripture. And so I started putting together something, and this is what I was sharing with Mike about what the Most High put on my heart about what we're really going through. And Mike, I see something. I'm going to try this and see what happens. It says I can share my screen.
Oh, hold on, let me see. You can?
Yeah, so let me see what comes up. It says sharing screen is easier with 2 monitors.
Oh, it's up on your end.
It works on a good computer. Some screens let you share audio. Let me see what happens here. Ooh, it's asking me to select a tab. Uh-oh.
Yeah, because my laptop, when I came back, I think they just throwing stuff around and it's just damaged my laptop. Yeah.
So I don't see. Let's see, window. All right, I found it. Let's see if this can work. Do you all see anything?
No, it's just you.
All right. StreamYard is sharing a window, and it says it's sharing.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, I don't know. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. No, I don't see anything on the StreamYard I can do on my end. Because like I said, it's on this cell phone.
Okay. Yeah, and I've got my a separate screen up, and it's not sharing it there. Okay. I'm gonna go with it because I was hoping I could share the screens to kind of give you a visual of what I'm talking about, because one of the biggest things I learned through teaching is that when you're speaking about it, most people don't retain as much as when they can see, and even when they can participate, that's even more. Yeah, stream. It says you're sharing your window. Okay, let's go with it. So I ended up, I created like 3 different categories. The first category I came up with is the poor category. And that is made up of those whose primary income comes from the government. So that could be general assistance, SSI, SSDI, railroad retirement, Social Security, VA. Now, when I say like Social Security, VA, this is generally the only thing you have coming in, and you're living off of that. And for most people, not successfully. They're barely making it. And like general assistance, they generally are getting help with housing, food, money. All of that is coming from the government. So they're dependent on the government to get their income. They generally don't pay taxes on it. However, if you like Social Security, some of the others, if you get a job, they may tax your Social Security. And some of the other areas as well. So a lot of times you're not allowed to have a job, or if you do have a job, you can only make a certain amount of money. So they have restrictions on your growth. They have restrictions on your living. So that's the poor category. And the next category I have is on the opposite end of this, and that is the wealthy category. And the wealthy primarily make their income from assets, what they call assets. Now, it took me a while to kind of understand. I understood it, but I didn't understand it. And when I talk about assets, I'm talking about, if you've heard things like rental properties, stocks, mutual funds, index funds, more index funds and ETFs, and having big businesses, and royalties off of the sale, big sale of books or records or whatever. These are considered the wealthy people. And when they make their money, it's off of these assets, not off of the government. The other category, and one thing else about the wealthy, they are generally investors. So I want you to remember investors. And so the other category, the main one, I call the working class. And this is where most people fit.
Right.
You have your employees, your independent contractors, your self-employed, your small business owners, consultants, entertainers, gig workers, actors, actresses, and I put them in this category for a reason. Doctors, lawyers, I even put them there for a reason. I even included retirees, gamblers, all of that is in this working class. And this is where most of us live. And our income comes primarily from employers, our businesses, or our clients, customers, and things of that nature. So we may have some from the government, depending on where you are in this class, but majority of your money is coming from working for somebody else, having your own business, or being like self-employed.
Let me ask you something though, sis. What do you think this mindset is coming from? Because when you was talking about the 6 kids, and you only had one black, and you had the other whites, and you had the Spanish and thing. Where is this mindset coming from? And then, what is your take on that mindset? Where do you think it's coming from?
Thank you for asking. That's exactly where I was going. So, those that are in this working class, we generally were taught, go to school so you can get a good job and you can, work, make money, and retire and have this great life. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we do. Some of us that didn't make it to college, okay, so we might feel a little down about ourselves because these people over here went to college. Some may not. Some is like, I didn't want to go to college. I'm comfortable doing this, that, whatever. It's all in this class right here. Now, most of us in this class and in the poor class, we go to work or we go to our business, we do our work for however long the pay period is, and we collect a paycheck or we get a payment from our customer, and then we spend that. We pay our bills. We put a little bit aside in savings if we can. I have 3 sections, I'll call it, within the working class. There's the broke, there's the comfortable, and there's the rich. So the broke, they're usually living paycheck to paycheck. They get their paycheck. After they pay all their bills, they have very little, if anything, left. Sometimes they have more bills than they have paycheck, and they're scrambling, trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And then they get up every day, they get up, they go back to work so they can work the hours to get a paycheck to pay these bills, and that's that vicious rat race. That's that cycle. They may or may not have a savings account. If you have a savings account, it's usually to put money in there to avoid paying the service charge on your checking account. And then you immediately move that little money back over into your checking account because you need to use it to pay a bill or whatever. That's how the broke live. The comfortable, they're making a little bit more money. Okay, so they can pay all their bills. They can save a little without having to pull it out. And they might save for vacation and take a vacation when the company lets them off. Or if you have your own business, you may not even be able to have a vacation. And broke, you can still have your own business and be broke too, because everything that's coming in, just like somebody working for somebody else, it's all being spent on your bills. So this is not a you work for somebody else or you have your own business thing. And that's another fallacy that I think we've been taught. Oh, if you get your own business, yeah, then you're rolling in the dough. Not necessarily. They are still a lot of them in this working class. But I'm comfortable. I'm good. I'm not stressing. But if I lose my job,
and that's the hiccup.
Yeah, then I may be able to survive. Maybe at the most 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm now in the broke category. And in the broke category, if you don't do something, eventually you end up in the poor class, having to rely on the government. All right, so the final one I have is the rich. Now they're making more money. They can save, they can, and think about these entertainers too, doctors, lawyers, entertainers, those that are really like, yeah, a lot of people's like, oh, I want to be like that. But believe it or not, they're spending a lot of their money. They may buy their parents a home or taking care of family members, or because they're really, really, really well to do. However, they're still relying on that money coming in. So if something happens, they may be able to last a year or two. But if something doesn't change for the better for them, they're down to comfortable and eventually broke and eventually poor.
But let me ask you something. So the game, what's the gist of this game when it comes to a mindset?
I don't want to get into the game yet, Mike. I don't even want to get into the game. We need to understand this right here. I want everybody on in the chat that's listening, just take a moment and find yourself into all of this, wherever you are. I'm focusing on the working class and the poor class. So many of us were taught this is how life is. And the more money you make, the more successful you are. The better career you can have, the more success you're going to have. And there's a lot of us that have the better career and we're still struggling financially. And the primary thing here is, again, what we were told was, or what we were led to believe is being successful. And the wealthy over here, well, yeah, they're all crooks. They're doing something that they shouldn't be doing or whatever. And they're taking all the money from everybody else. I've heard all the stories about what the working and poor class say about the wealthy. And, we're all kind of struggling to make it to that point where we're riding the fancy cars, we're doing all of these visual things that others can see. We live in the mansions, we whatever. And when we get an opportunity, say you get a huge raise or whatever, the first thing we do is up our lifestyle game. We might move into a bigger place. We might get a fancier car. But now our money's eaten up because now we've got these other extra bills that we have to pay that ends up eating up that new money and forcing us to have to continue to stay in this rat race cycle. And so what I saw from the game and also from living is that we were taught wrong. We were led to believe our money is our reward for a job well done or a business we provided. That money was our reward, and we get to spend it. Because when you think of rewards, it's like something that's going to make me happy, make me feel comfortable. And that's what we do. And then we go back to work so we can get that paycheck up there and we can spend it, not knowing that's keeping us in this cycle of that job or that business, whatever is your source of money coming to you, is really our master. Because that's who we have to serve to get this money to be able to live or barely live if we've overextended ourselves and we're down in the broke category. And we think this is right. Now, internally and quietly, we may not be sharing with others that we're struggling financially. And if we're not, we're comfortable. And so we give the appearance and may even feel like I'm not in that. But if you're living that cycle, you are in the rat race. It's a sum zero game. You're always going to have to work or have to provide a service to survive. What the Most High was showing me, he showed me, is that to get out of this cycle, we have to stop looking at our money as a reward or as a harvest. And I like that Brother Mike was talking about gardening and things like that, because I'm getting ready to go down that road. But instead, look at your money as a seed.
Got to plant it somewhere.
And exactly, a seed should be planted to produce a harvest. And not only that, it produces more seed. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, what is this soil I should be putting it in? And then it started coming back to me what I learned when I was a part of the Rich Dad that I wasn't doing. And then it's like, okay, when you start looking at your money as a seed and how to make it grow, because this is how they would say it, and this is how they would put it out there. Or you got to get your money to work for you. And I'm sitting up here trying to figure out, looking at this dollar, go work for me, and it's not working. But the minute I saw it as a seed that I had to plant, it was a game changer for me. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm spending my seeds. So it's like killing our seeds. We never even planted it. Or if we planted it, we put it in soil that wasn't good, bad soil. Is anybody understanding this at all? Is it resonating with anybody?
You talking about just putting their money in an account just to be sitting there?
So, yeah. So some of the things, especially like the comfortable and the rich, they put their money in savings because that's what we're told to do. So we put our money in a savings account if we can afford to, put a little aside. And mostly it's for like I said, going on a vacation or, just in case I have an emergency. And emergencies always come up and that money's depleted. And but we think we're doing the right thing because they tell you to save your money. Save your money. And so we end up saving our money because that's the thing to do. We don't know anything about savings other than opening up a savings account, putting our money there, opening up a checking account so we can write checks, which that's old school now, or use our debit card to be able to pay our bills and keep living. So when I said that seed, I started researching, what about the seed and all of that? And the Most High started going back and revealing to me all these things that went over my head because I did not understand all of this. As a matter of fact, we've been led to believe a lot of this is wrong. Oh, it's a sin, to have money and this. It was all wrong. The mindset is what we need to look at our money as. It's a seed. Where do you plant it? And the Most High told me to take us through this process. So over the next few weeks, it might be 4 or 5, I'm going to take us through this. In order for us to really get out of this cycle, we have to change the way we see and think about money. And it's not going to happen overnight. I believe over these next few weeks, as I explain some of the things we need to incorporate in our lives, the veils will start coming off the eyes and it would make total sense. And even some of the things that we've read in the Bible will make sense to us. I say that because there's a scripture that I always read and it didn't make sense to me. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before I do, I want to talk about savings accounts. How many of you have a savings account? Just put a yes in the chat. If you have a savings account, I don't care if it's nothing in there. If you have a savings account. All right. So for those that do not, we need to get you to a point where you do. For those that do, or if you've ever had a savings account, how many paid attention to the interest you got on that savings account? If you have a savings account, I don't want you to do it now. Go back and look at your statement. If you have a savings account in any of the brick and mortar banks like Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, US Bank, Wells Fargo, and a couple of others that I missed, you're going to notice that they're paying you 0.01%. So if you
So
have
Loretta
like,
Cross just said that. What you just said, she just put it in, see it right on the screen. Wow.
all right. So if you had $10,000 in the bank, never touched it, and never put anything else in there, over the course of a year, you would make $1. I mean, I want that to sink in, $1. Because, and we never paid attention, because a savings was just to put money in, if we need it for emergency or to save up for the holidays. We don't do the holidays anymore, but to save up for a vacation or whatever the case may be. Or if somebody needs help, I can give them money. And what are we doing? We're giving up our seed. Once that is gone, you can't plant it. You have to go get some more seed from somewhere else. Back to the job. Do you see this cycle?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're rich, comfortable, or broke. You're still in that cycle. And I don't know if you all have been hearing entertainers coming out talking about they're broke now. It's because they're here. We're thinking they're over there with the wealthy. They're right there. They just had more money to spend. But spend they did. So we have to get out of just putting our money in a savings account. Because if anybody knows anything about what's going on with the money, it's you losing value. So we're not only in this cycle, we're fighting against inflation that's taking money from us. When you're in the working class, I don't know if you realize this, but you, especially if you're an employee, you are paying for all of the government programs that pay the poor. Not the only way the government makes money is through taxes. So when you work for somebody else, they take that tax off the top before you get a penny. At least if you're self-employed or have your own business or a 1099 person and you have a good bookkeeper and accountant, you know how to save on some of that, not give so much back in taxes. If you don't, or you're doing it yourself and you don't understand, you're paying a lot of money back over to the government so that they can take care of all the bills. That's how the government pays their bills, is through the taxes they receive from individual earnings and then from like uninsurance. But uninsurance is really to pay for you when you're unemployed. But to pay the bills is off of those taxes. So your money is being taken away from you. And we don't even realize it. We're just, hey, I'm getting this paycheck. And I shouldn't say we don't realize it, because I'm quite sure a lot of us are realizing it right now with prices going up. Those prices going up, a lot of people, I hear them going, it's these greedy corporations. No, not always. It's a lot to do with inflation. Because if something happens and the company can't provide it, or the person that's giving it to the company raises their prices, then eventually the company has to raise their prices, and it goes down to you. I've had people tell me, well, these companies are so greedy and taking all this tax out of my check so that they could put it in their pockets. That's not going in their pockets. That goes to the government. So here's what happens. The government says, hey, wealthy class, I'll give you some incentives, tax breaks and all of that if you help hire people so that we can tax them to pay our bills. I don't know if most of you all know this, but this is kind of a brush over of how this is working. Because everybody's like, why do they should be paying more taxes. And why do they get taxed? And they don't pay taxes. And number one, because they operate under different rules than the working class and the poor. And the government works with the wealthy class to incentivize them to hire people from the working class, or even self-employed, doesn't matter. You're still paying taxes. So that now the government can pay their bills. We're in a situation right now, we're so indebted, and that's one of the things that I'll cover in one of the upcoming lives that we'll do. And hopefully we can get all of this cleared up so you can see the slides. But we're so overextended. I'm not sure, I haven't checked recently if even we can pay the interest. And everybody's, credit is, has credit going on, especially in the working class. That helps to make me survive. I got to get credit cards or a loan or all these things where they make you pay interest along with the principal to pay it back. So everybody's got their hand in your pocket, so to speak. And we're looking at our money as our harvest and not a seed. So let's go back to the situation where I told you, look at your account and it's probably 0.01. Credit unions might be a little bit more, but it's not. It may be 0.2, 0.3. Some of your online banks might be 0.3, 0.4, but not much more. And nobody talked to us about a high yield savings account. Does anybody know about high yield savings account? You could put a yes in the chat. But a high yield savings account is financial institutions that pay higher interest rates on your money. Through this, you can at least start seeing your money produce something. So, example, right now, there are some financial institutions, primarily online, and I shouldn't say primarily, that's the only place I find them now, that are paying like 3.75%. Let me see where my chart is, because this is one of the ones I wanted to show. Can't show, but I want to know the difference. Oh, all right. So now, if we have a high yield savings account, we can end up that same $10,000. And I'm talking slow because I'm looking for my chart here. I had it open and I don't see it. We're going to keep going anyway. Just to give you an idea, and I'm guessing, you can probably end up getting like $300 something in a year off of that same $10,000 that you got $1 off of because it's in this regular savings account.
Sister Nobia, she's asking about, what about mutual funds?
That we're not there yet.
Okay.
Let's not jump all the way over there. The Most High has me taking us through baby steps, because when we try to jump over and go all the way up here, our mind doesn't always catch up with where we're trying to go, and it ends up hurting us. Right now, even the small, like right now, the high yield savings account, because I'm going to challenge us. If you have your money, I don't care what it is, and if you don't, I will help you get yourself situated so you can start putting money in a high yield savings account to start seeing your seed produce more seed. But
let me pose something to you. So you're saying that majority of your high yield savings account, they're going to be online. They're not going to be brick and mortar?
Right. They're all the brick and mortar right now, 0.01% is what they are right now.
Okay, and that's brick and mortar. Okay.
That's the brick and mortar. Brother Mike, is there a way to put up my email? And I want to send it to you. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
And you can send me shoot me over an email, and I will send you some of the financial institutions that I would put my money in, or have put my money in. Because one of the things we have to also do is learning how to do our due diligence and our research, and not relying on somebody to do it for us without our understanding.
All right, Sister Pixie Does is asking you a question.
Sister Pixie Does. The high yield rate depends on the institution you select. You can find some that are 3.75, 3.80, 4.01. They range, but it's within that range that you're going to find them paying. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to. Here, let me finish putting my email address. And shoot me an email, and I can send you some of my recommendations. It's not going to be the higher ones, but I'm more conservative. I'm not a real huge risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why I'm taking us through these baby steps. I don't want us going into something high risk. Not that I'm saying mutual funds are high risk. They're not. But there's something that we need to learn about them as well. And I'll be teaching about that further down. But right now, I need us to get comfortable seeing what it looks like and feeling our money make money without us having to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that's not a lot, if you have something like $25,000, $30,000 in a savings account, and you move it over to that one, you're going to see about $100 a month or more coming into your account every month. All right, so here's the challenge. Open a high yield savings account. If you want any of the ones that I would use, shoot me over an email. I will send them to you. I don't want to put them on record because I don't want somebody to hear this a year from now and that rate changed, because the rate does change, and we'll get into that later, not today, in one of the other discussions. But for now, stop getting 0.01%, move it over into a high yield savings account.
Do you see the question that Sister Teresa is asking?
I do not. Let me see. Sister Teresa is asking, do you need a lot of money to open these accounts? Some of them, no. Matter of fact, all of them that I've seen, no. You can open it. Some of them say a zero balance. I don't know how that works, but if it says zero, you can have $1. Some of them, they want $50. It doesn't take a lot to open these accounts.
So what's the discipline about it then, though, sister?
The discipline
Mm-hmm.
is not taking the money out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The discipline is leaving it there and letting your money grow. If you take it out, you've now taken out your seed. The next thing we're going to be learning is how we spend, and I don't want to say spend, but well, I guess for now I'll say spend, because I don't want you to put this in your head. I want you to leave it there. Do not touch it over this month of February. Do not touch it, because when we come back after the last workshop, and I'm calling this a workshop, and I think I want to do 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
After that one, we're going to come back and revisit it. So you can't don't touch it. If you feel like you're going to need that money, don't put it in there, because it defeats the purpose to put it in there and then you got to pull it out. But if you have money sitting in a savings account, just sitting there, have it sit in a high yield savings account. If you want to add to it, go for it, but do not take any money out.
Let me ask you something else. But what happened? This is just a hypothetical question. That they want to use that money to seed something else, to plan to seed something else. So, how would you address that?
Well, if you want to plant that money to seed something else,
Mm-hmm.
you're taking your seed to start a seed. It's almost like you're still at ground zero. What I'm getting you to is learning to live off of the harvest. So if you want to take something, take the interest you accumulated. If you haven't accumulated it there yet, leave it there until you accumulate it. Because here's what you need to realize. Is, say if I had this $25,000, $30,000, and in a month I got $100, and one bill is like $95. Do you understand now? You can pay that bill,
Not messing with your seed money.
Still have your seed.
I got you.
The object here is to let your seed grow. Don't take from your seed, because now you have less to zero seed to operate with. A seed, when you plant it, it goes in the soil. You don't see it until it produces. But if you dig it up, it's not going to produce anymore. Yes?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
So that's the challenge for this week. I'm going to get with Mike, and we're going to schedule it so we can set it up maybe what's today, Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday? Yeah, you're right. Today is Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe next Wednesday we'll do the next one. And
Yeah, and I hope that, yeah, because I'm going to work on my laptop and see can I get the thing up and running.
Okay, we have a week to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So every week I will have a challenge for you. And this is just, it's not only getting you to start getting your money to work for you, but it's also changing your mindset in baby steps. And you'll begin to realize it. So many people come on and tell you, oh, I can show you how to make money. Go put your money in the stock market. Go put your money, go buy some real estate. And that's what I was getting from the game and from other people. And I did that and I lost money. And all I got was scared to do it again. Scared because it didn't work for me. That's why I'm saying we got to take these baby steps. This is probably the least riskiest thing to do. You don't have to have a lot of money to do it. You don't have to go out and do anything to make it work. You just have to put money in a high yield savings account. That's the challenge. So I'm going to end with scripture.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say something about this before I read it. And I have read this so many times. And this is one of those scriptures I didn't understand. So it's like, I'm going to put this on the shelf. And when I see Yahuwah, I'm going to ask, what does this mean? Or Yeshua or Yahawashai, however we, or the Most High even, if that's who's supposed to give me the answer. Because I wanted to know. I told Mike this, I had him laughing. My family used to tell me I was so annoying. I wasn't a crybaby, I was a why baby. Why? And I'm still that way. And I didn't understand this. And it was like, okay, I'm going to ask. And you can find, I'm going to be in Matthew 25:14. There's a similar story in Luke, I think it's 19:11. But it's the parable of the talents. Let me see if I'm there. Oh, hold on. I want to read it from the New King James Version. All right. 25:14. The parable of the talents. Now, it's so funny because I used to hear people tell me that talents meant having a talent, a gift. And actually, the Hebrew word for talent means weight of currency. It means money.
Mm-hmm.
In Luke, it says the parable of the minas. And minas also means the same thing, money. All right. So it says, for the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. In Luke, it says this this man, he was a nobleman. He called his servants and he gave them all, he distributed to all of them some money. And so it's kind of the same thing. And he told them in Luke to go and do business until I return. In Matthew, it says, and to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And that means understanding of what to do with it. The Most High broke this down so well for me. I'm like, oh my gosh. When I read this, I was furious. Why did the one with the one talent get put down about it? These other two, okay, so they doubled it, but they could have lost it. I wasn't willing to gamble it. I put it in a safe place so I can return to you what you gave me. I didn't want to run the risk of losing it. Had anybody else ever seen that scripture and felt the same way? I just put it away. I didn't want anybody to steal it. I just wanted to be able to return it to you. And I'm like, I don't understand this. I really don't. I put it on the shelf. It's like, this does not make sense. And we read it again here recently. And he says, and it says the man went on his journey. In Luke, it says he was gone for a long while before returning. When he returned, then he who had received the 5 talents went and, while he was out doing it, it says he went and traded with them. Never saw the word traded. And made another 5 talents. And I'm quite sure I read traded and it went right over my head. He just went to me. He went out and gambled. Yep. And likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more. Yep. You got lucky. You gambled. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Well, yeah, because at least I know I'm not going to lose it. After a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. All right, so he comes back. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides them. His master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. In Luke, it says, you did well with my money. I will give, if you made, I think it said it came back with 10. I'm going to give you 10 cities. All right. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. And his master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your master. All right. Then he who had received the 1 talent came and said, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Okay, yeah, I don't want to lose this. And that's why I looked at afraid. I didn't want to do bad with your money. Look, there you have what is yours. But his master answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So and this is the part that got me, because I'm like, yeah, you should be proud of me, until I read the next one. So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming, I would have received back my own with interest. Family, put your money in a high yield savings account so we can collect the interest. And I will leave it there.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. Because truthfully, uh, the owner, that was his mandate. Go make money with this money that I'm giving you. And that's what it was. It was a command, and it seemed like that all of them was a part of that contract to do just that. And then, but at the end result, when he told them what to do, but another guy was probably, I don't know, let's call it jealousy. He making all this money and things of that nature. He ain't dropping not one seed, but just want us to go ahead and make money with his money. He give us his money, we go have to go ahead and make money. And so
that's what's happening to us in the working class. All of our money that we're spending to keep our whatever is going into somebody else's. It becomes somebody else's seed that they can make grow, because when you're transferring this, you're giving up your seed. It becomes somebody else's seed. And you no longer have that seed. And so when we're out and we're giving, helping this person, we're giving away our seed. Wouldn't it be nice to come back and somebody says, sis or brother, can you help me out? I need about $50 and you can go and take that $50 out of that high yield savings account and not touch your seed and still be a blessing.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to start thinking differently.
So now let me ask you something, sister. How do you equate this with this exodus and learning this about the movement of money? How do you think this can help with the prophecies that the Most High said what's going to happen with his people when they leave captivity? How is that going to stay with us or help us in the long run?
Great question. Now, first thing, banks all over the world have high yield savings account. I started checking, even in Africa. That's the first thing. Secondly, I believe the Most High has us going through this, not necessarily to be wealthy, even though we may gain that, but to shift our minds, change our mindsets into thinking abundance instead of scarcity. Because we're in this working class, that's what it's all about. So no matter where we end up, we'll know how this operates. And again, imagine all of us operating like this. If I'm getting a business going and I know you know how to make money grow, I'm willing to invest.
Right.
Think about investments you've made or loans you've given or whatever. Anytime you've given money out to somebody other than paying your bills and stuff, like I said, you loan somebody some money or you contributed to something that somebody was going to do, and they think like the working class. All they're going to do is take that money and spend it until it's down to zero, because they have to operate out of that money to survive. Are you following me? Once we learn this, we're not operating that way anymore. We can do business together because we have a trust that I think we are lacking, because we know that you understand that money is a seed and not money is this harvest for me. I'm going to do what I promised. You know, like I said, I need money to pay a bill. I've gotten behind. Here's the two scenarios. I'm in the working class. I work paycheck to paycheck. There's a good chance I'm never going to come up with that money because I didn't have it. So I might not be able to pay you back. And I know we've all been in situations like that. But now you're dealing with somebody who may have had a setback. But once you know these principles, even if you get a setback, because it could happen, you know how to get back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other way, we don't know how to get up. We just trying to survive, keep our head above water. And if you can give and you can give and you can give, that keeps my head above water, but I'm never growing. You're just subsidizing me not drowning. And that's what we've been doing. And they led us to believe, oh, you're such a good person. And oh, this and oh, you know, oh, you give. And that's so Christian-like. And that's so, but we are giving away our seed. And we're like that one who buried the money because didn't want to lose it.
I know we the one. That's what I was about to ask you, because I know it's that one, and that's who Yahushua is talking about. We was that one that buried the money.
Okay, so one of the other one of the things we're going to be talking about is the power of no, N-O, not K-N-O-W. But once you get the understanding of this, and you're living this, you can spot the difference. So many people that understand these principles wouldn't even consider helping somebody in the working class because it's to them like good money after bad. And all they have to do is listen to you speak. Oh, yeah, I got to get up and I got to get to work because, yeah, you know, life is hard. You don't know these principles.
So did you put your email in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Yeah, because I didn't see it. Because Sister Monica, she's asking what banking institution would you recommend?
Hold on. Shoot me over an email. Can you hear me? Because I pulled away a little bit.
I hear you.
Okay. All right. I just put it in there. How do you have it come up on the screen, Brother Mike?
If you put it in the chat, I can put it up on the screen. I don't see it.
Yeah.
You did?
It's called wealthyfriend@gmail.com.
No, I don't see it. It didn't come up.
It's coming. What's the last one you see?
Well, I never seen one from you from the last time you were saying it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's wealthy, WEALTHY, friend, FRIEND, wealthy friend, all one word, @gmail.com.
I'll tell you what you do, sis. And also just text it to me, and then I'm gonna go into my text and copy it. Then I'm gonna print it. Then I'm gonna post it.
Okay,
also.
I'm texting it now.
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody see it?
No. I'm looking at the comments and I don't see it. All right, hold on just for a moment. Let me
Let
go
me
here.
see if I can. Okay, let me do it here. This says private chat. Hold on. I'm gonna put
Oh
it
yeah.
in.
Wait a minute. Private. It still didn't come through in the private. I got it, sis.
Okay.
There you go. Oh yeah, you just did it. Yeah, it just came through. I just seen it in the chat. There it is. I got it on the screen now.
Yes. So, family, I hope a light bulb went off, or a aha moment happened. I hope you're understanding how to start looking at our money.
Sister Monica's asking, what is the start? What is the start limit? All right.
As far as what you need to put in to open up the high yield savings account,
Yes, I believe so.
that it differs on who you choose. You can go online and just Google high yield savings account, and it will give you a list. I will send you the ones that I would use or do use.
Mm-hmm.
I've done research, and like I said, I'm a conservative person, so I'm not one that's going to go, oh, they have the highest one, I'm going there, because I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable, because you know you want to make sure these banks are not necessarily credible. They're credible, but I want to know what your track record is. Are you going to be around next month? And that kind of things I take into account. So
Yeah.
when I recommend or I tell you what I'm using, it's because I vetted them.
Okay. And
That's
that's
the
it.
amount.
That's gonna be that discernment.
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
you broke up a little bit. What was that, Mike?
It was Sister Zenobia. She put in the chat. We want to need that discernment. Getting all your information from. If you go Google these banks, just like what you said, you want to know their track record.
Right. And you're more than welcome to go and do your own due diligence on them. But I do have some that I have. And Sister Pixie does. I totally agree. That's why I was speaking to Brother Mike about we need to be doing about the gardening.
Oh yeah, I'm very big
talking
on that.
about the health care and how all of this. I do believe right now the Most High is raising up a group of us to start preparing us.
Oh yes.
Family, can you imagine? I just showed you the mindset of the working class where most of us are right now. Can you imagine what would happen if we got reparations right now? It would go all right back in their pocket. And we
Yeah.
would,
Without that education. Without that education, yes.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Hmm. Who is
Irv
I,
God.
who is that? You know him?
I do not, but I'm a person that stays on Google.
Albert Gotti.
And they said he suffered another stroke.
I mean, but who is he?
He's something in the entertainment industry. A lot
Okay.
of rappers know him.
Okay. Oh.
50 Cent, they said, trolled him. I'm trying to find something. And they said he's on life support.
Mm.
And let me click on this and see. He is an American record producer. He co-founded the record label Murder Inc. in 1998, which was an imprint of Def Jam Recordings.
Mm. How old is he?
Of course, you would ask me that after I got rid of it. Here we go. Let me find it.
Mm.
Where is his birthday? He is 54 years old. He'll be 55 in June if he makes it, or if, because I'm not seeing that he passed yet, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
he's 54 as of today.
Wow. A massive stroke. Woo. Mm. Yeah, Sister Pacey does is correct on that. It's just, I mean, we got the finances, we got to gain that knowledge, more knowledge on the workings of money and our health.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's all over said and done, I mean,
And having the money helps with the health.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I said I think it's Ecclesiastes somewhere in there where it says money answereth all things. It does. I mean, the Bible speaks so much about money and wealth. It's just, it went over our heads. Our minds weren't open to receive it or perceive it that way.
I mean, sister, when you living in the dark and you're trying to find yourself and you don't know who you are, and it's going to take the Most High to wake you up. Hey, he woke us up. Now we understand it. All right, this is how we need to. We gotta start reframing our mindset to who we are. All right. Now this scripture here is talking about you. This is what you need to do. Now, from what they taught you about money was wrong. Now you know what's right. And so,
and we're going to be going over all the different areas where they gave us misinformation. And that's what we're going to be doing over these next few weeks. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time so we can grasp it. And then I give you a challenge and hopefully you follow up on it. Here's another thing that I finally understood differently. Because we can hear these things and then go, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll do it. And then you never do it and you never get started. So remember that phrase in the Bible, hearers of the word, but not doers?
Yes.
It impacts you differently now.
Yes, it does.
Or another one. I looked at the word belief and faith. So belief is something that you found trust in. Yes. Faith is a belief of something you haven't seen yet. Right? So now, if we don't do this, this is the same as doing faith without works. And
so
what
always
is faith
end up
without
dead.
works is dead. So we can stay there and keep working and thinking you're going to get out of that, or waiting until your retirement age, and who knows what that will be by the time you get there.
They keep on moving the goalposts.
Exactly. Or we can start making these changes today. this, I truly, truly believe this will be the beginning of us coming together as a nation and trusting each other. If
Yes.
I know you think this way, I know you know how to grow. I know you're not thinking out of a mindset of lack or scarcity, even though your words are saying something different, because the words can say one thing, but those actions tells a lot. That's the works.
Mm. That's the beauty of it, I tell you. And I'm glad you came in, sis, because I tell you, I knew that we needed to hear this, and I think it's going to be in. Well, this is my encouragement for you brothers and sisters in the chat and at home here. Make sure you hit the like button and share this, because truthfully, we need to have this. We need that seed. This seed, this discussion, planted in all of our heads. It can be a seed just sitting somewhere in somebody's head. They heard it, and it may not take root. It may be a couple of years down the line, but they're going to remember it. That's the beauty of it.
Yes. And I think, we've gotten so caught up in focusing on the frivolous that, and when I say the frivolous, it's like the things that's causing the family and the nation to be divided. Over trivial things that I believe the Most High will settle once we get where we're going. But we're all fighting about this when these are the things we need to be focusing on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, because when you're frustrated, and that frustration comes out in some of these brothers and sisters' teachings. And another brother may be frustrated about something. Oh, that's wrong, and so on. So they don't, But when when your bills are not running behind, there's a different spirit that you maintain, because it's right now when money is not an issue. When money is not an issue, people tend to listen a little bit more, because that's not a worry that they have. They tend to listen, analyze, and they move on. They're more comfortable in having a conversation. But when you have all these things coming on, and you're dealing with some financially strapped brothers and sisters, and you don't know what situation they got going on. When they have bills here they got to pay, or they late on paying this here, that frustration comes out. It comes out. But the more we start to, I'm not saying that money is a god, but money can cause a great deal of stress. Yes, it can, because the world in which we live in, it takes money to live and die. That's what it takes. And we just have to be smart about it now. That's when it's all over said and done. We just have to be smart about how we use it, and where we place it, and what we think about it. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
No, and I want to add to that. Because, and first of all, you're absolutely right. We're not supposed to be, money is not supposed to be our master. And it says the love of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing that we misinterpret. We think, or we've been led to believe, a lot of us, that the love of money is having an accumulation of money. So that's why they look at wealthy people as, they're sinners and all of this, because they love money more than they love the Most High. And that's not true. What we don't realize is the love of money also means the focus on it, the obsession of it, And the more people that obsess over needing it and having it are those who don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones who don't have it are so busy looking at the ones who do have it as being the center, they don't realize they are. Because when you don't have it, then you seek someone who does have it, and that's who becomes your master. That's why you see a lot of these, like I said, entertainers and all of that. They say something out of line, oh, you need to apologize. And they buckle down and apologize because that is their master, because they have not learned. And this is the key that I want you, all of us, to have in our mind. Don't think it's because you have enough money to pay your bills that means you're safe. Because remember, I told you about the comfortable ones in the rat race. They're the ones that can still pay their bills and put a little aside. So they think they're out of it.
Yeah.
But they're not. The key is multiplication, having your money, planting it as a seed and having it grow. You're not working off of that money. And there are various ways to have your money work for you, to have that seed produce something. Just because we have enough money to pay our bills doesn't mean our money is our seed. We just got enough seed that we can give enough away and not suffer from it, but we're still giving it away. And we need to learn how to not give it away. Make it work for us. Operate off of what it produces. Make that your new seed or your harvest. Do you know you can get in a position where you have enough money coming in that you didn't work for, that's produced from your seed, that could pay all your bills? You don't have to work then. You work because you want to, not because you have to. So don't just think because you can pay all your bills, put some money aside, that you're safe. Because as long as you're depending on a paycheck or something like that to pay for that comfort, you're still locked into that system. We have to come out of that system and that system's way of thinking.
Hallelujah. You're right, sis. We got to come on. And then that's the reason why I kept saying that I needed to get you on here, because I knew the brother. I mean, the Most High, he's moving things. He's moving. He's pushing people up there into the forefront to speak and let these things be known. Like who was that? I forgot what one of the sisters said in the comment. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you that in school.
They don't.
They do not teach you that in school.
Oh,
they teach you to go.
of which, Mike,
Mm-hmm.
When they found out I was teaching that, they didn't do anything. So I was able to teach it for one semester. They shut it down. I went back and I said, because the parents that came to that night, that fun night, they went and said, oh, what a great time they had, and they shut it. They would not offer it.
Wow.
Because remember, and I'm not saying on that level they understand it, but on this higher level, remember, the government needs people working to pay their bills so that the government can pay their bills.
Wow.
And they've given the incentives to the wealthy to help them generate people who, because not everybody's gonna get this concept.
True.
So we're always gonna have the working class, but we don't have to be part of it. And like I said, no matter where we go in this world, that goes with you. That's part of your knowledge base now. So that's the whole thing that I think the Most High is getting us to now.
Yeah, I believe that too. I do. Let me ask you something else, sis. That
Mhm.
game now how much do that game cost?
See, and this is why I said I don't like talking about the game.
No.
Because everybody will get into that game and oh, forget her. We don't need her no more. We're gonna play the game. I'm not gonna tell you. Well,
I
I don't have
got
to
you.
worry about telling you. I can tell you the game, it used to cost $100.
That's what I thought. I thought the
Yeah,
same thing. All right.
it's down a little. You might be able to find it for 80 or $70 now.
It don't cost nothing if we go online and do it as a group.
Right.
The-
Mike, I'm gonna be taking us through all of that. Because see, the
Okay.
game itself, just like that's why I was explaining about the game. The game itself, without the knowledge, you're gonna get caught up. You're gonna miss the point.
Wow.
So I
I mean,
will
I
be
like the
having
game.
us play the game,
Yeah.
but it would be with the right knowledge base and understanding. We'll get there. If you want to jump ahead, go for it. I'm not even concerned. I'm so calm because I know what's gonna happen.
Mm. No, I mean myself. I like the game myself. I mean, yeah, everything
Oh,
is not going to work
I
out
love
with
the
me.
game. The
Say it
game
again.
is going to just be the icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
That's just going to open up everything to you. But we got to get the basis first, or that game is not going to make the sense that it needs to if you do it prematurely.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of it. So now what type of homework are you talking about for next week?
You'll find out next week. Let's just stick with what we're doing this week, which is opening up that the high yield savings account. That's the challenge for this week.
Okay.
And that's where we got to learn patience.
Yeah, we do. We ain't learning about that
We can't
now.
run through this. It's not going to happen overnight. I think the Most High that he's going to allow this to happen over these few weeks. It's taken me a while to get here.
Wow. Ain't that something? You learn something new every day. It all depends on what you want to learn. And that's that mindset. If you don't want that old mindset, you come to realize, hey, this is a better mindset. And that's where we are really creeping up on that wall. It's a new mindset, a new way of thinking about money, a new way of addressing money. So, like what you said, sister, we was taught, oh, money is evil and so on. So don't go after this. Your treasures are in heaven. When you die, you will be with the Most High. You will get all what you want in heaven. Yeah, but that's what they taught.
And like I said, I never saw that part. I saw the part about the one talent and him being upset and all of that, but I never saw the part where he said you could have at least, and I know I read it, you could have at least put my money in a bank and got interest. When I saw that, oh wow.
I tell you, with this awakening, sister, you started to see scriptures that went in one ear and out the other. But now they start, that scripture, and it may sound small, but now that one little small scripture has a great deal of meaning. And this is where we at right now with this awakening. The scriptures, they like jumping out at you. When you're thinking it's a small scripture, no, it's a very big scripture. And it does affect your life. Yes. Like who the sister Zenobia said, she was talking about the guy who had the stroke. So I mean, Yahushua said, do not be overeating and heavy drinking. And I'm not saying that's what this person was doing, but for their entertainment, they have that history of showing off of drinking, smoking, and everything is overindulgence in Hollywood. And so, and we know that the effects of overeating and heavy drinking all that stuff. We know eventually, yeah, it ain't gonna
Yeah.
work out well for you.
And the Most High just put something else on my heart. I gotta say,
Mhm.
you know how much they say the blacks are the biggest consumers.
Okay.
Is it hitting different now? We are.
Yeah, we are.
We spend all our money. We give it right back.
To them and making them rich.
Exactly.
That's Israel.
In record number.
Yeah.
We don't do business with each other, but understand why. Because if I'm giving it to you, you giving it back. So I don't trust you. This is why we got all these trust issues. Sorry, I'm getting a little.
No, it had to be. It needed to be said, and has been said. It's on record, brothers and sisters. They're gonna share this with other brothers and sisters. It has to be said, and it's going to. And like I said, today is a day of a seed. We got to start thinking a whole lot different from the old ways that we are used to. That's when it's all over said and done. That's it.
And we're going to be learning other ways, other places to plant our seed. But from this point forward, every penny you get in your hand, be it through a check, however you receive it, direct deposit, look at it as a seed. Where can I plant this? Right now, we know we can plant it in a high yield savings account.
Wow. Wow. And that's So now, it's just also on that what I came to learn, and when I was playing that game, there's this is just my mindset of it. I know what I intend on doing, and that's open up a garden, hydroponics and things. I'm gonna do that small, and put the rest of the money into like what you said, a high yield savings account. But start the business off small, because you want to take it in baby steps. That's what I want to do.
Yes.
I want to start it off small, and then whatever interest rate I get off of that money, all right, now I can take that interest rate, take the interest and apply it to the business and add a little bit more to the garden. Instead of me taking a seed, boom, I'm just adding bit by bit, boom, until eventually it gets to where it's getting. And then once you get your sales up, now you're able to match that money from your sales or what are you growing and selling and things of that nature. Your money has increased. That's what I learned from that game, from the time that that I was playing that game.
But the game doesn't teach you that, though.
No, I'm just when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it like this. It teaches you investment.
Yes, and I shouldn't say it doesn't teach you that.
Mm-hmm.
There's an aspect of it, but without knowing what we know, even what we know today, you kind of miss that. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
What I found hosting that game over all these years that I've done it is, and this is how we are as people, though, and not just us as a nation, but everybody. We want the end result.
Mm-hmm. We got that Abraham and Sarah spirit in us.
It's about achieving the end result. So you focus on the end result. The game is two-part. First part is getting out of the rat race. And then the second part is being in the fast lane with the wealthy people and then winning the game overall. That's how the game works. It's two pieces. We're so focused on getting out of the rat race, so to speak, that we didn't get our mind out of the rat race. That's why I'm saying we got to take our time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I understand. I understand what you're saying on that. I get you on that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And that's what I'm after. I'm not trying here to sit up here and say, oh, we got millionaires and billions. The Most High is saying the focus on the mindset. Because if you have that, the rest will come. But without it, you can get it and lose it and not know how to get it back because your mindset was never conditioned for it.
I see what you're saying on that one.
And that's what was happening that I didn't recognize at first when I was hosting these games. Oh, I gotta buy property. I got to do this. I got to do that, and not looking at the baby steps. Where do I get the game? Because you want to play the game and then try to live this, and then when it falls apart, you blame the person who showed you the game.
Yeah, and then the game start collecting dust.
Exactly.
Yeah,
oh, that don't work. They just crooked and and you know. And that's why it's like, nope, you got to learn. We got to take these baby steps. And I think, again, Most High, precept upon precept, step by step. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
And that's yeah, we needed this conversation today. Yes, we did. At least that's what I'm thinking. And we just can continue to take these steps. And the Most High is going to bless. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And we just have to pay attention to it. Yeah. Because things are happening. Things are happening. And it may be somebody on this live or in this live that the Most High wanted them to hear this, because it may be that person. The Most High said, I'm going to send something your way and I want you to do this here. And you never know, from words from brothers and sisters and their talents and their trades, how it would affect someone else.
Yep.
It's a blessing, I tell you. But brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you all for being in today. And Sister Doreen, you will be back next week, Wednesday, right?
Yes. We could do it at the same time, Wednesday. Family, please, again, get this out to as many people as you can to come in and listen to the replay. And one final thing I want to say before Mike closes out, and that is, as you share this, and if you're like me, when I find something that I feel can benefit not only me, but others, and I share it, you're going to run across people that's going to tell you, oh, that don't work and this, that. Please do not let them turn you away from this. Stay steadfast. This is what's going to help build our community of like-minded and like-thinking people. Don't let them turn you away. That was another big thing that happened to me. I let people turn me away, and I ended up right back where I said I didn't want to be. We're going to get there. Just requires patience, an open mind, and a willingness to take action. And I leave it there, Mike.
Sister, before you go, let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. Do you think that with all the controversy that we've been hearing within the Hebrew community when it comes to people saying, oh, this money here was stolen, this money here was misused, do you think that the knowledge and the experience that you have, if brothers and sisters had this knowledge, that they can avoid a lot of that unnecessary nonsense?
I absolutely 100% do. Yep. I don't fault the people. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And we think we're doing the right thing. I absolutely do.
Wow. Woo. I tell you. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you, Sister Doreen, for coming in today. And like I said, brothers and sisters, if you can, like, share, subscribe, share this with other brothers and sisters, because we all need this. We all need it. We need this now and in the very near future. This is what we want to need these things. Brothers and sisters, keep your head on a swivel. We know what time we're living in. And let's continue to be encouraging towards one another. We need this. We need to pray for one another deeply. More than ever before. These last days and what we've been bombarded with, and this mindset that they claim, I ain't gonna say they claim, to which we got accustomed to. If it's time for change, it's time for change. And let us use that discernment that the Most High has given us, and always reaching out to the Most High to have this discernment that we can get better as a people and as a nation. And on that, brothers and sisters, I'll say shalom. And Sister Doreen, I'm going to give you a call later on today.
Was that me?
No, I'm saying I'm going to give you a call later on this evening.
Okay. All right.
All right, you brothers and sisters, be safe out there, and shalom.
Shalom.